Hey, you guys, let's talk manuals, okay? Because we have manuals for the humans, right? And there's lots of humans that have manuals for us. And part of your thought work journey, part of coaching, actually a big part of it, is all about learning more about ourselves. I have a belief that our soul came to earth, right? Fully intact. It knew its mission. It knew what we were here to learn. It knew what we needed. What we were to learn is what we needed to teach, right? And we were authentic selves. You look at children. They're 100% themselves, right? 2, 3, 4-year-olds are them. They can play alone. They tend to play alone, right? They speak the truth, right? They don't know how to filter these things. They're just 100% themselves. And then we start seeing 5, 6, 7, the programming coming about. We can start seeing some people-pleasing behaviors. Some, they don't like me. She's prettier than me. Like my niece is 6 and in kindergarten and has already said that statement. So my point is, our authentic self exists, right? You were born you, and then programming became layered. Parental programming, societal programming, religious programming, right? It goes on and on. And then we have our society standards. Women act like this, men act like this, mom should be like this, dad should be like this. This is how we treat kids, right? This is work life is separate than home life, right? They want us to fragment ourselves, right? And we're programmed to do that. So then we're lost. We get lost because all this program is layered on top of who we actually are. And that's what creates so much suffering for us, right? Is these words like should be, supposed to be, right? I should be like this. I shouldn't be like that. And it's because we're living out of these programs. A lot of you are coming to a place where self-awareness is becoming more and more apparent, right? Where your self-awareness is becoming more apparent. You're becoming the watcher of your mind. You can start seeing, right? Oh, I do think these things. Oh, I do get distracted a lot. Oh, right? You have become these things that were hidden before, that were running in the background, have been brought to your forefront. And you're aware of them. We're aware of our emotions that we weren't aware of before. That we pressed down, right? And now we're feeling our emotions. And then sometimes our brain will offer up, right? Because always remember this. Your primal brain has 3 daily primary jobs. Seek pleasure, avoid emotional and physical pain and suffering, and utilize as little energy as possible. So of course, when you're feeling these emotions, your brain does not want you to. It's like, this feels terrible. I'm just gonna send some little flares out there of thoughts to remind you, if we keep feeling these emotions, we're gonna feel like this forever. These emotions are gonna overtake us. We're never gonna be able to get out of this. This isn't who we are. This is how it's not supposed to be. But who said? Your programming said you shouldn't feel these emotions. Your programming said this isn't how it's supposed to be. But what if it is? What if this is the human experience? Right? What if this is what the human soul is meant to? It's meant to come to earth, experience the 50-50, experience the spectrum of emotions that we have in us, right? That we are capable of feeling. What if nothing's gone wrong? It's just you're coming to a place of becoming more conscious and more aware of you. Self-awareness. Self-awareness is so empowering because we move away then. We start shedding the programming of victim mentality. Self-awareness feels terrible at first. right? Because we're bumping up against having to take full responsibility for our lives. No longer are we hidden in the shadows of victim mentality, where it's everything outside of us, right? We're now having to face and taking full responsibility for our lives. And I want to pause there. I want to put a little pin in this real quick, because some of you that are wired similar to me, we take the word responsibility and take responsibility for lives and we're like, yeah, I've done that. There is a difference between taking responsibility for your life and fault and blame. Okay? Personalities that are wired like me, we blame ourselves. It's a coping mechanism, right? We take on all the blame. It's my fault. So in my childhood, I didn't have a lot of choices. I was not an empowered child. I lived in a very authoritarian home. And so my way of coping was I would blame myself. They're not happy. This went wrong. It's my fault. It's easier and less painful for me to make it my fault than it is for you to blame me all the time, right? Or point out what I did wrong. I hated that. It felt terrible for me. I felt like you were attacking my character. So it was just much easier for me to beat you to the punch and just blame myself and take it all on me. Even to a point where it was detrimental, right? I was taking on responsibility, blame from other people's decisions and choices, which came from their brain. That is not healthy. Taking responsibility for your life is very different. It's not blame. It's not failure. It's not fault. Those words, always let them remind you that this is victim mentality. They're coping mechanisms that no longer serve me. But responsibility is empowerment. I am responsible for me. I am responsible for my emotions. I create all my emotions. They are my responsibility. My results in my life are my responsibility. The world out here is not responsible for me, my life, my destiny. That's me. I want something different. I'm responsible for changing it. So I want you guys to make sure you're teasing the differences. Blame is very different than responsibility. Okay? But when we can move to a place where we take responsibility, right? For our full lives, and we say, I am like, and this is no longer my programming. These beliefs, which my brain finds a lot of safety in because I have years of gathering evidence to prove they're true, don't serve me anymore. I'm going to let them go because they don't serve me. I get to have different beliefs. I get to take ownership of my life, my choices, my empowerment. And I'm going to decide what's best for me, what beliefs are best for me. I'm willing to be wrong, but I'm going to have my back because these beliefs serve me. I'm no longer going to hide in the safety of my old programming, which were other people's beliefs, which came from their thoughts. That's it. The beliefs that were pushed onto us were other people's thoughts. At some point, some human came up with that thought. So it becomes very empowering. Then you start creating, it becomes your life. And they're your beliefs that you have chosen for you in your life. Right? You let go of your family's legacy in terms of money beliefs. And how their beliefs on parenting, their beliefs on how a woman should be, how a man should be, what relationships should be. You let go of all of that and you just make a decision for you and you take full responsibility for your life. I decide this belief works for me because it's a thought. And this belief came from somebody else's brain and it was a thought originally too. So I hope that helps you guys as you're taking this journey and going through this like transformation, like a phoenix, right? Like we're burning down some of your old beliefs so you can rise up and choose beliefs that empower you, that work for you and your life, that serve you and move you forward. We let go of this blame and this shame, right? And this is how it should be. It shouldn't be like this. This is a human experience, my loves. 50-50. You are here to experience the 50-50 and experience the emotions that you are creating, right? Have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys in group or in your one-on-one appointments.